Hello everybody. How are y'all today? Pretty good, I hope. I took Zoochosis Mama Dodo out of the vaults because we are playing Zoochosis. There was like a new there was a new update back in August, I want to say, and we haven't checked it out yet. So I was like, you know what, spooky month, trying to figure out what we're gonna do.
Concussion.
Zebra
being
butt.
attacked by a zebra butt.
Yeah. But yeah, no. And thanks to you, Foxy. Thanks to you reminding me that the daily check-in needs to be locked at one redeem per stream. So appreciate that. You can't abuse it this time, Foxy. But how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hey Dragon, hey Scallion, hey Foxy. Yeah, the good old infected Mama Dodo. Wait, why isn't the check-in working? Wait, hold up. We had a whole check-in. What the hell? We did a whole check-in thing where we're like, oh, I turned it off. That's what happened. All right. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off and back on again. And then you should be able to hopefully be able to do it again. All right. Now try it. Try it again. Hopefully you can try it again. Otherwise, I'll just increase it to 2 or something. Mama brother, that's funny. I'm just going to do a music sing-along hangout with the choir folks. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I told you the check-in's only going to be once per stream. It's 1 per stream. Don't act like it's like I'm taking away your First Amendment right. Unknown error occurred? Alright, then this is what I'll do. I'll limit to 2 per stream. There you go. Done. 2 points is too much. The infection really hit the dealer stream. Okay. There we go. There we are. Perfect. Now that everyone's done it, that they can get it, I'm going to bring this stack down to 1. Perfect. So now, so for those that missed it, the daily check-in is basically, there's like a Twitch thing where lurkers aren't being counted as viewers. It's a whole thing. So every streamer's doing their own thing, trying to figure out a way around it. Mine is that now we have a check-in that counts how many times that you've checked in. So I was thinking like, cool, people could like see how much they've been here, even though y'all are here all the time, and because you love and support me, and I appreciate it. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want me to add to it besides Foxy's no limit spam of it. But only reason I don't allow it is because it's spammy. You are the best. And I just came back from a local festival thing that is happening, and I got myself a burger that cost me $16 to buy, and it was a decent burger, in which it was wrong. I'm a very simple man. First of all, base scallion, gender bend OCs are really fun. No, because it's gonna spam. I don't want you to spam it. I just don't want you to spam. Do you just like number go up? Do I need to get you like a fidget redeem where it doesn't do anything really besides just make number go up? $60 for a burger is like a full month's pay. It's wild. And the burger, so I like my burger simple. I just like cheese and ketchup. I know that for a lot of people that's absolute atrocious, but I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. Just cheese and ketchup is all I need for a burger. What I got was special sauce and bacon. So I'm not completely complaining because it was actually still pretty good, but usually any level of sauce tends to ruin the burger. But usually that's mayonnaise, not mayonnaise. That's usually mustard, because mustard's really strong. You know, the minimum hourly wage in Oregon is like 15, 16. Yeah. My friend, I got over 65 hours on Revolution. I don't give a number going up. I mean, I am a Satisfactory nerd too, so I mean, for me, it's less number go up, more of factory must grow. I'm a factory must grow kind of guy. Efficiency and growth and like compound interest kind of deal, like beautiful. I would have taken that burger from you. It was a good burger. I ate it. It was solid. But for $16, I got that small bag of chips and that one little burger. And for $16, was it worth it? $16 was a little cheap. If it was like $5 cheaper, I think it would have been worth it. But the people were nice. The food was good. And it's festival, like, it's food truck food, right? Like, that kind of stuff tends to be a bit on the expensive side. So, yeah. But what I also got, if you saw the green drink, they have there's a food truck there that was started by a 13-year-old to help raise money for their family, and they sell lemonade. That's like as a family in that food truck, and it's really good. So I got green apple lemonade, and it's really good. Like a sizable, like 30, like a big. It was a big cup. I might actually keep the cup, not gonna lie. It's good. You know what, I'm gonna call it out. I feel it. Hopefully it won't dox me. Get Silly Lemonade. If you ever see Get Silly Lemonade, I recommend it. It's pretty solid. It is $6 for a lemonade, but you saw how much our lemonade I got. It's a lot of lemonade. Plus, you know, support small people industries. First game I ever played when I first got to the age of 11 was literally just a calculator. That's really funny. Got a sandwich that was $16 and it was enough for 2 people. Yeah, but I also have a big stomach, so your 2 people might be just me. I played Silksong on a controller. It's far easier than keyboard. Good to know, actually. Okay, when I play Silksong, eventually, whenever that may be, we will do controller then. Yeah. Oh, really? You haven't used controller before now, Foxy? That's actually kind of wild. My go-to tends to be controller first and then keyboard, but then again, like, I grew up, I mean, we had the family computer, but I grew up with like Nintendo 64 and then GameCube. Like, by the way, I have no loyalty when it comes to like consoles, because I went from 64 to GameCube to Xbox 360 for college. So like, think of it, 64 was like elementary school, GameCube was like middle school and high school, then Xbox 360 was college, late high school, college, and then, oh no, wait, was 360 high school? Because PS4 was college. Yeah, PS4 was college. So 360 was high school. Then PS4 was college. And then after PS4, I just didn't get another one. I got like the Switch and stuff like that, but those are really for road trips. I don't just get on the Switch for the sake of going on a Switch, right? Never played controller because I was too poor for a console. Yeah, a friend gave me an old console and it was like really good. Good. One specific brand is cringe. Yeah. I mean, listen, some people make their hobbies like a part of their identity. So by changing that kind of aspect, they have to change their identity, right? So, I mean, it's kind of a warning to everyone out there, like, careful what you decide on what makes you believe who you are as a person. Hey, Shadow, how are you doing? This is my Zoochosis model. This is Mama Dodo Zoochosis, infected with the Zoochosis virus parasite thing. It's always it's the most decisive. Oh, okay. Maybe it's either first or second most divisive costume for Mama Dodo. It's either this or it's the hold on. I'll show you the other one. It was this one or this one. These two ones are the most divisive in the entire community. People hate it and people love it. There is not in between. There is no one that's like, it's all right. Either people hate this one or they love this one. Going shopping and spending over $300 for the basic stuff. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's kind of normal when static, but when you talk, it's summoning an elder god. I mean, that's kind of the vibe. The vibe is Mama Dodo's normal, totally normal, and then there is no hearing you out, Foxy. And then, like, as soon as the infection, it was like, oh, Mama Dodo's affected. And when I first introduced this costume, the story aspect that, or like the mechanic that I had going on was you could pet Mama Dodo and you would get infected. And then so the entire time I was like, go ahead, pet Mama Dodo. What's the problem? Just pet the dodo. I don't know what the issue is. But yeah, no, I really did like this one, but I think it's the sudden red and the showing of the raw bones that just make it extra unsettling for people. But you know, 'tis the season. But if it's too overwhelming for some people, know that we still have the change costume redeems up if so desired. I didn't have time to set up to make another one for Zoochosis Mama Dodo, so if you want me to switch to that one, just do the random one and then just let me know and I'll switch. Evil Pecker Story. But it's crazy. Thank you. I did try my best. Which, you know, I'm just gonna say tomorrow, I don't know if you y'all were here on Tuesday, but there might be something to do with Mama Dodo costumes tomorrow. Just a heads up, just saying, you might want to be a part of it. It keeps on pushing me back. All right. Okay, so there are new creatures in Zoochosis, and we want to check them out and see what they're doing. And we're enjoying some green apple lemonade, and I keep on, as soon as I pick up my drink, the what do you call them? You put your cup on it so it doesn't drip all over the table. That thing keeps sticking to it and dropping. So if you hear dropping, it's not my fault. You can blame liquid. Coaster. Thank you, Scallion. I always appreciate you being able to translate my brain for myself. Okay. Play this time. Oh, accept. Continue. New game plus. Continue. All right. What do we got? Oh. Get out of here. Go to your Jurassic Park or whatever you go off to. Oh my gosh. What is this sensitivity? What the hell? Did they make the sensitivity just insane? Mouse sensitivity. We're going to put it down to like 0.7. Oh my, it's worse. How did it get worse? Okay, do I need to put it up here? Oh god. Okay, no. It's all right. 0.5? Okay, better. Is this motion blur? You see it too, right? It's like a little nudity off, subtitles on. VSync, anti-aliasing, colorblind, scan. Okay. I drove a 6 song early from the boss. We're not.
Paul, you entered here who knows how long ago. You're not answering calls. I'm worried.
Oh, yeah, right. We need to let her know
Lily,
that we're fine, but we're not going to give her the meat.
Everything's okay.
Give her
They put me on probation, but I had
the
to
meat.
start immediately. You should just go home. I'll be back in the morning and tell you everything.
Paul, but I saw them lock you up. It's not normal.
Yeah, it's just protocol here. They took away my phone and made
Hell
me
yeah,
sign
Foxy.
an NDA. And all I have to do is feed and treat the animals. Oh, and by the way, there's plenty of meat here. I want my girls to
Seriously though,
finally eat normal food. I'll
who
be right back.
feeds their family animal meat? That's so not okay. That's so not okay on so many levels. Alright. Look at all this. Oh, need to pick up. Yoink, 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 yoink. Let's go. Give me all that. Alright. So, what do we have going on today? What do we have going on today? It's not connected, but I don't know which ones we're doing today. Tasks. Oh, gorilla, penguin, moose, elephant. We already did this. Should we do new game plus plus? Is that what we should do? Friends got you food? Ooh, what did you get? Because I don't want to. I want to get the new ones. I want to get the. I mean, I guess we could just die. Okay, let's see here. And we could do. Oh, by the way, this is the endings tracker for those that haven't seen this yet. Look at how many different endings there are. Look at all these endings. So we could just do give her the meat and then just do a different ending real quick. We could just do that. No, I want to see the new new ones. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do quit. Yeah. New game plus. Start a new game. All unsafe progress will be lost. I believe this will work, hopefully. I do not want to replay the tutorial. We are good.
Before we begin, I want you to put down your scribble.
Well, we already got this achievement, but for those that don't know, there is an achievement for you not signing here. Do y'all want to see what happens? We could just vibe and talk if you want to see what happens, but there is an achievement. Hey, Nightwolf, how are you doing? What do you mean? Mama Dodo's just feeling under the weather. Just pet the dodo. It's Zoochosis. It's Zoochosis with Zoochosis Mama Dodo. Yeah, we're gonna sign. Because we already got it.
You made the right move. Just
Did I rate the right move?
you'll pull your
For
family
whom?
out of
For
poverty.
whomst?
I really hope so.
Attach this to your
Why does he have a...
Our scientists require us to do
Why did he have an
everything
echo?
that happens
Did you all hear
in
that?
enclosures.
Scientists? I thought this was a zoo.
True.
This green apple
That's a
lemonade
smart help
hits.
belong right in the zoo.
It probably has so much sugar. It doesn't taste like it has a lot of sugar.
Excellent. Now let's get started. First, grab your personal PDA. It's necessary.
Isn't the
for
P in
interacting with all
PDA
work
stand for
objects.
personal?
Congratulations, you've taken the first step.
Am I wrong with
becoming
that?
part
What does
of our
PDA stand
close-knit
for?
zoo family.
And I don't mean public display
Wait,
of affection.
What's this for?
You'll find out later.
He gave me the shot that made my eyes go staticky. Like when you get up too fast and you haven't eaten enough, have enough iron in your system. Okie dokie.
Hello, you've reached the emergency suicide helpline. How can I help?
Yeah. That's him calling suicide hotline, by the way. Which, by the way, get help if you need it.
Paul, you entered here who knows how long ago. You're not answering calls. I'm worried.
We're gonna answer Lily.
Lily, sweetheart. Sorry, didn't hear you right away. Everything's okay. They put me on probation, but I had to...
Paul, but I saw them.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip this because we literally just saw this.
What the hell? How does that bastard know so much about me? This is not normal.
That bucket must have had enough. All right. Gotta pick up all our stuff. Do. What you gonna do? Poop sucker. That's still one of my favorite songs that we put. Tasks. Okay, it's still the same guys. Ugh. All right. I think we'll just have to complete this round and then hopefully we get the new guys. All right. Hey, stop it. All right. So what do we want? We need giraffe. We need elephant, which is 6.5 by 4.5. Okay, let's see here. I think each of these are 10. All right. Herbs, vegetables. Oh, let's get the meat. Let's give the meat to our wife, because that's something that we do.
Damn. This feels like theft. But I guess one time won't hurt.
Excuse me? What is all this? Oh, we're just not going to say anything about that? We're just not going to... We're not going to mention that thing? We're just like, hand the meat to the wife, I guess. Let's just put that in real quick. So dumb.
Lily, are you here?
Yeah.
Take this. Give Gina a kiss from Dad. It's time for me to work.
Oh my gosh, so dumb. So dumb. So funny, but so dumb. Alright. Now, we're not going to talk about the jump scare thing. We might just go full...
Holy shit. This is not good.
This is new. Oh, hello there. Hi. Ah, they added some stuff. Look at them flexing their horror muscles. Good on them. Good on them. I'm proud of them. All right, so we need some fish. Yoink. Then we need, what was it? Moose and gorilla. Moose is 210 and gorilla is 1. So one more of each of these. I think we'll be fine. I think that would be all of it, hopefully. If not, we'll just come back. Push do 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 boop do do. Get up in there. Alright, be with you in 1 second. First, is there something? I can. Oh, what's in the filter? Nothing. Oh, interesting, actually. Was there anything else in here? I know I could open all these lockers. Yeah, I can open all these lockers. Because this game knows that I know. Can you guess when this one is? Can you guess? I'll give you a hint. It might give you nightmares. Really close to finishing the album. Hell yeah. Glad to hear it, Foxy. Alright, so where are we going first? Where we are going... let's do gorilla first. I might be missing 99 of other humans to fight them, but I'll do what I can. I wish there was a way for me to just immediately go see the new animals, but they gotta make me work for it. I see how it is. Alright, let's see. What do I need? Gorilla. Oh, we only have 6? Oh. Okay, so each of those are 3 pounds. Got you. I thought there were 5 for whatever reason. Alright, well, good thing we didn't do elephants first. Oh, okay, so we want about 1/6. What is 1/6? A little over 15? So let's do like 17. Look at that. Mental math. Quick maths. Alright. And then this one is just under 50. So we're looking at like 40. Look at that. We were off by We almost got it exact. Almost exactsies. Alrighty then. Get out of here. Now, give me that. Gimme. Certainly there won't be a problem if I... Oh, don't get in there. Surely there won't be a problem with me walking backwards now, would it? Ha 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 ha. Unless... At least we're not doing the tutorial again. Oh. 1 second. I need to get this. Excuse me, excuse me, I'm gonna need a... Pardon me, I need to go into the storage here. Hello? I'm here to answer your calls. They don't pay me enough to answer phone calls.
Oh, thank God, finally.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm here alone.
Please check for me. He should be in the lab.
Just a guy.
Is there a lab here?
Loved one calling to check on them. Classic.
And one last request. Look in his locker in the break room. Code
It's...
1768.
How does she know
This
his
doesn't feel
code?
right.
That's what I want to know.
Paul, I'm begging you. CJ needs to take his medication regularly. I just
Like,
want to
how
make sure
did...
he has them with
I
him.
mean, I
Just open the locker. That's all.
kind of
I'll call back.
understand. It's like, oh, maybe it would like passively mention it. It's more to do with the fact that how did she remember it? I don't remember most people's phone numbers, let alone locker combinations to their work. You know what I mean? It seems a little convenient, if you catch my drift. Ooh. Hello. Are you new? This place is seriously messed up. Everything is covered in crap and rust. The stench is unbearable, but it's still better than that asylum where they kept me for 6 months. Agreed. Agreed. That's your bar, huh? That's your bar? Everyone has their bar, I guess. Asylum seems to be theirs. I forgot that I could sprint backwards. Let's go. Hey. Okay, so they're aggressive. They're angry. Nothing like nothing. Luckily, angry gorillas aren't like dangerous. That would be problematic. They give you so many resources. My gosh. Alrighty. Who wants food? Hey Thor, I know when you're looking at me. Hey Chief, Dexter. If you keep going at it, I'm not gonna get you any food. I'm gonna make sure you're not gonna get a single one. Y'all are really going through it, aren't you? All right, let's do you. We'll do you, and then we'll do you. All right, let's see here. Nothing. Okay. No temps. No one has fevers, huh? Okay. Nope, get back here. Get back here. Get back here. So vomiting is one of them. Are you also boring me? Okay, let's see here. Do I have like a tracker up here? I forget if that's something that I actually have. Okay, we don't have Dexter. Okay. Sound, they run. They run from sound. They do not like sound. Let's see here. Do we need blood is the question? Oh, let's do light. Oh, right. We need the poop sucker. Got nothing to do on a Saturday night, poop sucker. Alright, get that poop. Man, I love my job. It's like, what? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I don't think they got all of them. How about over here? I saw y'all throwing up over here. So they definitely have vomiting. There's vomiting. There's running from sound. Granted, that might be just an everyone thing now. I was wondering why that was red. Hey guys, I only got 2 poop. I'm gonna need you to point me in the right direction. Hey, do you know where you pooped, sir? Pepper? Look at me. So you're sick, thirsty, and scared? Is that what that is? You're scared. Seriously though. Let's see. I'm not. Where are the poop? Where's the poop? Seriously though, where's your poop? There. Okay, Pepper. There you go. Oh, okay. Pepper. Any second now. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's like this human's weird. Okay. So that's 4 poop. That's good to go. Dexter and Pepper. So it's between those 2. I believe. And then Dexter and Pepper. Anything? Pepper, get back here. You don't got any splotches. See? Look, that's it. That's it. That's all right? You're fine. You're fine. Let's see if that's enough. I might have pissed them off too much though, but we'll see. I kinda feel like I should get their blood. But I don't remember if I needed to do that last time we played. Dexter, come here, boy. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you very much. We don't need the other 2 because, quite frankly, they don't show symptoms. Pepper, perfect. It's all right. We'll fix you right up, okay? Oh wait, hold on. We'll also get Chief just in case. I'm trying to remember if it's the one that shows symptoms. It's like it's the one that shows symptoms, but it's not the whole thing. I forget, but we'll deal with that. That's good enough. It's been a hot minute. It's all right if we don't have Thor because whatever Chief's situation will kind of explain the rest of it too. It's what was it? What was it? It was like it's the one that isn't showing symptoms. Or is showing symptoms, but it's not showing all the symptoms? Bro, I don't know. I don't remember. I really don't. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Do I oh, all right. I need to go. Oh, right. It's all coming back to me. Time to put the feces. Hell yeah. And now, put this back. We don't need this no more. And then, blood collected. I don't think we need to do it again. I think it did it for all of them. Yeah, I did it for all of them. It's like, you didn't put anything in there, forehead. Inspect animals for symptoms. Create a cure by recipe. Yeah. Alright, this is what we got. Let's go. Alright, so pepper. We have sound. And that's it. They don't like noise. They don't like that. Yeah, from what I hear, definitely. Identify the main symptom of the type of disease. Collect a minimum number of samples to avoid provoking aggression in the animals. Observe the animal's behavior. Changes of behavior may indicate disease. If an animal does not show obvious symptoms but behaves unusually, this is a sign of parasitic infection. Does not show obvious symptoms but behaves unusually. Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. So it can't be Pepper or Dexter. It's Thor or Chief. Right? They don't like sound or light. So whichever one of those... So we're going to go ahead and create... Honestly, we have so many. Let's create 2, just in case. Alright. Alright. 1. Perfect. Oh, wait, we need 3, don't we? Because we still need to cure them? We still need to cure them. But... Oh gosh, I just completely forgot how this works though. Illness of animals of the enclosure area results of parasitic influence. Curing or killing the parasite affects all sick animals. Is it just curing those and then... Let's get 3. Oops. Well, we got 4. Oops. Alright, we're also going to get the light. We're going to see which one... Oh, tranquilizer. We don't want tranquilizer. No, we got Neuro Shield. Okay, good. Okay. Alright, we're looking at Thor and Chief in particular. Alright, Dexter. Oh boy. I did this wrong! What is this? I don't understand. What did I do wrong there? Alright, lethal injection. Okay. Where are you? There you are. Ooh, ooh, no, get away from me! Get away from me! I should have reloaded right away. Can't get me in here. Ha ha ha. This is humans only. Reload. Oh, there he is. What? I hit you. I hit you. Oh, whoops. Can't hit me down here. Lethal injection. Oh boy. I'm returning to monkey. Can't get me in here. Haha. Hee. Where is he? Get out from behind there. Okay, we're gonna try again the next time, though. Are you near me? Yeah, you are. Ring around the Rosie! Ring around the Rosie! Neuroshield. We did it! It's okay, little guy. I should have gotten my vacuum. You feeling better, Chief? Yeah, you're feeling better? Good. I go get a vacuum. I come back, they ate it off the ground because they don't know any better. Parasite's influence has been eliminated. The animals are healthy. You're fine. Got a Peacoat Goodwill and it fits so well. Hell yeah. Alright, Alright, here we go. Oh, is because I went inside to grab the thing, the phone oh, whoops. Oopsies, I skipped that phone call. Ho ho ho. I want to do one where we literally just won't answer the phone. Social anxiety, it's like, I'm just here to do a job, leave me alone. Wait, hell yeah, Scallion. Alright. Gorillas are good to go. So the way that we want, so it seems the way it is we nick the one that is infected with the appropriate thing, then we fight with a lethal injection, then hit him with the right thing at the end of it, and then we're good. Good. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Now I need to go back. Let's go back to the hub. Well, actually, we could just do the penguin. Do we need to go back to the hub? What if we just did all of these? Look at this. Giraffe, wallaby, gorilla. Hold on here. Let me see something before I get too deep into this and I'm just like, oh. Let's see. New animals and enclosures added, improved gameplay, blah blah blah. Brand new update. New animals and enclosures added. Jump scare, hidden branches of the ending tracker will now be visible during gameplay. You can now collect all samples during boss fights. Improved several animal interactions, blah blah blah. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anything specific, only because I don't see the new stuff here, which makes me worried. It makes me a little worried. Let's go again. I'm look it out. Ba-doo-ba-doo-doo. I just want to make sure that it's also not like a DLC. It's like, oh yeah, you didn't buy the DLC for the stuff. I'm just a little worried is all. Is that so bad? Alright. We're going straight to the penguin. What are you gonna do about it? To the penguins! I'm just here to do my job. Alright. Alright, Mr. Penguin. Cut. 2/3? Well, that's 66.6% right there. Come on. There we go. Exactsies. This is going to be like a restaurant that actually gets your food 100% right, exactly the way you want it. Okie dokie. Now, go all the way back here. Oh, surely that's just that's a normal cough, guys. Long COVID. Paul, answer the phone when it rings. This is a must. This is the first and last warning. What are you, my dad? There'll be a food delivery soon. You need to grind some fresh meat. Got it? Nah, I'm not gonna answer the phone. What's he gonna do? Huh? What's he gonna do to me? Infect me with a parasite? Psh. Oh. Check out the storage though. Because the storage has materials. No, even though we're not low on anything, it's still. You good, champ? Don't worry, guys. He's just. Oh wait, what am I doing? There needs to. Where's the ESRB? I even set up the ESRBs. Damn. Apparently, I also need to put jump scares. They added a lot of jump scares in this game. Alright, what do we got here? Alright, Peter Cushington. If that is indeed your real name. This job isn't exactly hard, but time drags on painfully slow. I wish I could shoot up and come to by the end of the shift. Maybe there's something around here. Oh, no, my guy. No. I'm just gonna inject a random liquid just in my veins, just cuz. Just like I feed my family random meat, just cuz. So dumb, dude. So actually dumb. Alright. Alright, what do we got here? Welcome to the penguin enclosure. Alright. Now, these have been a headache in the past, but... Hey Daisy, how you doing? Tinker, Misty, Rocky, looking great. Get all up in there. Y'all are gonna love this. Enjoy. Alright, let's get a nice, simple heat signature. Oh! Interesting. So, Misty, you're the only one. Misty's the only one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any of the rest of y'all? Doesn't look it. There's no stragglers from what I can tell. Alright, so one of you is definitely not it. Okay. So then we're gonna have Poop Sucker, and then let's see here. We'll do... I don't see anything wrong with you. None of you seem... You seem to be just fine without light, with the light. You have some marks on you on the front. What about you? No. Alright, Tinker, no. Coco, no. Luna, no. Daisy, no. Rocky? Rocky! Wait, is that just the play on the light? I can't tell. No, I think it's a play on the light. Alright, let's switch to Poop Sucker. So I think there's 6 of them? They don't have sensitivity to light. I don't hear them have certain behaviors. I don't hear them fighting. I don't hear them throwing up. Misty, do you have anything? Oh, you are sick. Any of you others? If any of you sick? Not really. Y'all are just nice and cozy in here, huh? Okay, there's another one. I think I'm missing one more. Oh, right. Okay, let's do it. Let's drop this off. Let's do a little sound. Oh, what? Oh, what am I doing? Misty is the only one that I care about right now. Okay. Okay, so all the poop's been picked up. Sleepy. I want to know. I think it's the light. I think it's just literally Tinker. Is it you? You're the only one really up and about. Let's do another UV of Tinker here. No. I'm not seeing anything. Nothing of Coco. Oop, nope. Is it because you're just noisy? No, that is something. Okay, Rocky, it's you, unfortunately. Alright. Alright, in that case, sorry, I know. I'm only gonna get it from one guy. Sorry, Misty. It's definitely Rocky. We just need to be able to figure out where we're gonna get him. I know. You're not feeling well. I'm sorry. Alright, that's everything. And as far as behavior-wise, really nothing to say. So it's Rocky. Rocky is our person. Misty's going to tell us exactly what the issue is. All right. But don't stay still. All I will need is your blood. What are you gonna do? Poop sucker. All right. Luckily, they don't have a lot of... Oh, that was a lot of poop. Never mind. There we go. I like that doors don't open unless you put the poop. Where it's just like, they didn't need to poop. What do I do? It's like, well, the door runs on poop. You gotta supply it somewhere. So you better hope you got some fiber in it. Okay. Alright, what do we got? Just temp. That's it. Nothing else. Alright. Well, we need 2. So this is an anti-inflammatory. Alright, Temperallax. Alright, Rocky. Okay, we have 1 lethal injection off the rip. Alright, come here, boy. Rocky. Rocky. 'Cause well. No. Get away from me. Get away from me. No. Get away from me. Hey, guys. I'm gonna need you to get out of the way. Where'd he go? Excuse me, fellas. Excuse me. Oh, he doesn't fly around anymore? It is me, little... Oh, I was gonna say it's me, the lethal injection man. That is not a good name to sand. Sand? There you are. Huh. Got you. Ho ho! I'm working on a Mama Dodo. We're currently having a flying penguin situation. No! You did not kill Tinker. I shot you immediately. This sounds being all weird. All right, temper relax. Okay, good. He's all right. Woo! Do you feel better, Rocky? Okay. So it didn't even really... I wonder if it's because I aggravated Rocky. I wouldn't have aggravated Rocky so much. What do you mean? I didn't do anything to Rocky. I need to make sure to... I need to make sure that the thing is done. Oh! Oh, gosh! I also forgot that there was vomiting in here. We haven't made the vomiting warning ahead of time. We delivered some fresh meat. Head to the hub and deal with it. I don't think I'm gonna. I'm gonna choose the route of I'm not gonna I'm a social, not a social butterfly, so I'm just not gonna answer the phone call. I'm just gonna do my work and go home. And see what happens. It's like, I'm not even gonna ask questions. It's like, yeah, no, I just didn't answer the phone call. Alright. At least the penguin's good. Murder's not okay. I didn't kill anybody. There's no one dead. They only had just enough lethal. It was like a non-lethal injection. Even though it says otherwise. I shall keep it up. I shall. Especially when it comes to animals. I probably shouldn't say that because that implies non-animals is okay. But I mean in the sense that I feel super bad when it's like innocent animals that like are just infected. They just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They went out during tall grass and they got a little bit of a tick, and then what's going on there? Humans probably deserved it. I don't know, I wouldn't go that far. Alright, I mean I guess we have to go back to get stuff. Alright, let's see here. Moose! Do we have enough for moose? Let's see. I know we don't have enough for elephant. We do have enough for moose. Okay, we'll do moose. What? What'd I miss? What'd I miss? There's even like him yelling from the jump back, and I was like, I didn't jump. I think so, yeah. It happened last time too. I was like, I'm just cooking here, bro. I don't know. I didn't even see anything. It was jump scare, but only the audio. Maybe, I think so, yeah. And then I turned around and it was just like, wait a minute. Okay, so here we go. We need 2. So 2/3, 2/5, so 40%. Oh, they do not sound happy. Now that they got the percentage, it's essentially, I was gonna say it's too easy, and then they give me a 1 out of 30, 1/3. I'm gonna assume 1/3. What's 1/10 of 1/3? So that would be about 33. So I think it would be about 36. That was a little high, but that's fine. Alright. Let's get started. We're gonna ignore the hives on my arms. Moose Station. Back up. Doo doo boop 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 boop.
Oh no. That's shitty.
Yeah, hives would drive me crazy too. Alright, oh. Hey my guy, how you doing? Headache, got it. Actually, that might be a migraine. That might have been a migraine. Sometimes your head does look like it splits open, or feels like it splits open. That's definitely a migraine. Let's see here. Ooh, this one's just like, I injected myself with some mystery serum. Hopefully it gets me high. Found nothing, but whatever that crap the doc shot me up with, it's hitting hard. I feel worse than after my synthetic shit. The animals are going crazy. Maybe because they can sense I'm about to mutate. Anything out here? Get all these. Okie dokie. Is it like... Oh, I wonder what I'm supposed to do is trank the one that I'm anticipating being the evil one, and then give him the serum so then I don't even fight him. I bet you that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's why they give me a free trank in the beginning. Yeah, I bet you. I hear you skittering around. That's a lot. That's a lot of that's a lot of parasites. Calm down. I'm feeding you. Relax. Aspen, Hank, Finn. Hank is such a good name for a moose. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Not you. You. Hank. Alright, Hank and Finn are the ones that I gotta pay attention to. Because they're being noisy mother truckers. Get out of here! Okay, so it's Finn. So I just need Hank's stuff. It's just Finn. So all we need now is the poop. We don't need UV, we just need... Oh, not you. Where's Hank? Hank? Nope. Hank, come here. Alright, so that's 2. Is the poop too big? Why can't I get this? Poop too big, it won't go into the vacuum. Poop too big, you can't even see it. Poop so big that used it in Jurassic Park. Poop so big you don't even wanna know it ain't. Poop big. I don't know what's with this game in making me want to make like really weird jingles to things, but maybe it's because it has something to do with poop. I don't know. No, not you. You. I think they went to go to bed. Yep. Alright, come here, Hank. Sorry, bud. Alright. Finn is the other one that we want. Okay. Why is the frames going down? Why are the frames going down? Are y'all seeing this jitteriness? It's being weird. And like the frame dropped. Let's just close this. What happened? What happened? Why is this being weird? Video VSync should be on. Why is it being weird? Like, you see this? Oh gosh. It's kind of messing with me a bit. It's kind of giving me a headache. Like, it says it's 50 frames. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Hold on. Hold on. Camera shake. VHS audio filter. That's fine. Fisheye effect. I don't even know what that one is. Okay. Vignette 4:3 mode. No. Apply. Interaction speed. Display. Frame rate 60. I mean, it fixed it, but it's also, ew, gross. 30 frames. Okay, now we're gonna go back to 60. Okay, it's fixed. Whatever, something happened with the frame rate. We fixed it by just turning it off, turning it on again. It's not a lot of poop. There was more poop with that penguin. With those penguins. Actually, I'm gonna keep this on me. Alright. Paul, get in the gadget trolley. Put the blood in the device and shake it all up. And then... let's see what this moose has. Alright, it has 3 of the 4. Okay. Easy peasy. So we want 2 of these. Well, actually, we only need 1. We actually only need 1 because what we're gonna do is that we're gonna sleep dart Finn and then hit him with it. We only need 1. Trank. Finn. Oh, Finn! Hey, get out of here. Shoot. I'll get to you in a minute. Finn. You're Hank. Oh, come on! I just got here! What could I have done different? Lethal injection. Alright. Ah! Get out of here! Come here. Where are you running off to? Okay. No, no. 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 Gotcha. I'm all very sneaky. What are you gonna do? Climb the wall? Ha 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 ha. Oh, he climbed the wall. That's certainly concerning. Oh, he's behind me, isn't he? No, he's in front of me, isn't he? Oh! I gotta get out of here! Where are you? Get away from my boys! Oh, they're not... He's not near the boys. Then where is he? Hey, where are you? Hello? Oh, hey, how are you doing? Hee hee ho 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 ho! No, come here. Oh, I missed. Haha! You can't beat me! He beat me! Alright, Septicure on the way. See, don't you feel better now that you've eaten some food? You're not you when you're hungry, Finn. Yeah, go ahead, get it out. See? This is what happens when you trust certain fast food places. Who I insert the name of depends on who decides to sponsor my stream. Okay, I think I had the right mentality. I just needed to... The game wouldn't tell me who was who, and by the time I actually could tell who was who, it was too late. Oh, it's doing it again. So, me when my streamer, when my Kamiyoshi sells out. Let's do the same deal as we did before that we fixed it. Apply the 30. Awful. And then we apply the 60. Oh, no, it didn't fix it. All right, well, hopefully loading this next one will fix it. I don't know what's causing this frame issues. I don't think it's anything on my end. My computer's saying it's 60 frames a second. It ain't 60 frames, tell you that much. That is lying to you and me. All right, so now we need to go back because we didn't get enough for the elephant. Because I thought each one... Oh crap, we never went to ad break. Well, I'll know if my numbers are a little down. That would do it.
Hey, Paul. Are you here? And I promised to take the rest to her beloved daddy. Oh, someone arrived. Hello. Do you work here? Hey, what are you doing? Let me go!
Good morning, Paul. How was your night? It's time to feed the mother.
It just kicks me in the face.
Mother likes her food to flutter and squeak. Don't worry about your wife. I think she'll make a great dessert. Really, Paul, you didn't.
Hey,
think
that's
that
my
I'd
wife. You can't be talking to her about that.
I'd let you go.
Only I can call her a dessert.
Uh-oh, looks like Mommy is particularly hungry today. Goodbye, Paul. Tell Mother. Bon appetit.
Oh. I think that's an ending we haven't gotten yet. Paul didn't save the journalist. He failed to warn Lily about the origin of the meat, and a visit with the meal made him more fatal. Not to inform the wife that the meat is human. Philly fell into the dog's trap. Just like Paul, both became food for his monster. Their young daughter Gina was left an orphan. Cool. Answered Lily's calls. Didn't save Sarah. Didn't call Lily. The Last Supper. Okay. So that was a shorter version. So in order to get the more version, we have to save Sarah and then do stuff regarding Sarah. Got it. But, okay, new animal available. Okay. Panda! Panda! Let's go! Ostrich! Let's go! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! New game plus. And with that, well, let's get into it, and then we'll go to our supposed to be second ad break, but first ad break.
I want you to put down your scribble.
Actually, you know what? Let's do it here. I will sit here for as long as the ad break's happening. Let's see if that's long enough to just get the ending. I think you have to wait 10 minutes, but I'll see y'all in a bit. All right. Let's do a little bit of exercise. What's a little bit of exercise between friends? Am I right or am I right? Me, when I made Kai work out with me during that redeem, honestly, it was hilarious. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go very well today. Alright, well, that didn't go anywhere.
Let's not waste time here. You'll be sitting here all night, and I've got more important things to attend to.
Well, you know what? I guess I'll just run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right, I didn't want to do this, but it seems I have to. Listen.
Hello, you've reached the emergency suicide helpline. How can we help you?
I got nothing. I've been unemployed for a year. I lost my house. My money is gone. No life. My family. Damn it. I just can't face them.
And I remember to unmute.
Gina,
Look at me.
They're great. And too good for me. I'm just a stupid failure. What? Where did you get this?
Chill, Paul. No need
Chill,
to break
Paul.
the nose of a man ready to solve your problems. All the problems, Paul. With the house, with the money, and even with the expensive treatment for little Gina. Well, what do you say? You ready to sign?
Well, all right. We're back. It takes more than 3 minutes, turns out. I also tried to do a workout. It did not go well. I'm not even writing it down, how many I did. I'm just like, you know what? That's a wash. today's a wash. That's okay. I have a certain goal to meet at the end of the week. We'll just won't do it today. Simple as that. Let's do maybe like 1 more minute? Something like that. Let's wait for it's like 5 minutes, right? If it's 10 minutes, then I don't want to do it. But if it's 5 minutes, we're already like 3/5 of the way there. We're more than halfway. Just for us chilling here. You know what I mean?
Let's not drag it out.
Too bad. You know what they say about drag? Dragging these? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah. I guess we could just vibe for a little bit anyway. I don't know if I will ever go through all the different endings, but at the very least, I want each playthrough to, like, if we're going to be playing through it, we might as well try to get a different ending while we're at it, kind of deal. Like 2 birds with 1 stone. You when you're hungry, the souls of the innocent, right? Proceeds to, that would be kind of funny if I renamed, like, the costume changed to like different snacks, and different snacks turn. I mean, technically, if y'all bring use your points to bring back
Just sign the contract already and we'll be done with it.
the bug snacks one, because the bug snacks one I think was no, and pie. There's also pie Mama Dodo. There's pie Mama Dodo. I'm trying to think any food related ones. There's There's one redeem where I haven't finished it yet, where Mama Dodo's a fridge. I don't remember who did that one, but that is something that we need to do. Mama Dodo the fridge, and then when I talk, the door opens and closes. Yeah, the Mama Dodo the fridge. It's quite a few actually. Let's see here. Which ones do we have left? We have boo. Yeah, there's also Walter White one. Right? So we have a couple. So we have Dapper Mama Dodo, which is the Greatest Showman suit. We have Melon Mama Dodo. We have Minecraft Creeper Mama Dodo, Anniversary Mama Dodo, Fridge Mama Dodo, where fridge looks like normal but opens like a fridge. Open pie Mama Dodo when I talk. So it's like there's the Mama Dodo pie is in the fridge.
Patience has its limits.
It does it now. Show the list of all the things. I would, let's see here, because there's a couple other notes on here. Okay, I think everything on here. Let's see. No, I can't because there's too much stuff. Oh, I know what I could do. I know what I could do. I do this and then open a new notepad. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So, Fridge Mama Dodo, Evil Mama Dodo with inverted colors and devil horns. We're thinking like maybe yellow. Cyborg Mama Dodo, Dodo Dragon Hybrid with diamond eyes and a tiara with the big Jim in the center, and Walter White with hat costume. That's what we have. You asked me to show me. I can't make it bigger. There's no zoom. I can't make it bigger. I could make it quote unquote bigger, but it wouldn't make the text bigger. Can I zoom in on the damn notepad? View. Oh, there is a zoom. Control plus. Oh, okay. There you go. Okay, there you are. There you are. See? There we go. Dapper, Melon, Minecraft, Anniversary, Fridge, Evil, Dodo, Walter White. This is it. This is all of it. All right. Well, that's too bad. All right, we're like it shouldn't be too much longer, certainly, right? I want to see it. I want to see it again. What we end up doing. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have all the patience in the world. I mean, I guess I could go for a walk, I suppose. We just open up a different game. We just start playing more Deltarune in the background. Do y'all want more games for your games? Oh, there it is.
Sorry, chum, but it seems you're such a dimwit that you're only good for meat.
That's what we look like, guys. And that's what happens when you don't sign. And now you know. Oh, it didn't count. Or maybe we did have it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. Alright. Accept. New game plus plus. Replay. Don't play the retort. Replay the.
Before we begin, I want you to put down your scribble.
Yeah, I got it. And watch me do it again. Oh, do I?
Excellent. You made the right move.
You made the right move.
And you'll pull your...
Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. So we're going to not. We're not going to. Oh, we are going to answer. We're not going to give her the thing.
You're here who knows how long ago. You're not answering calls. I'm worried.
The fact that still blows my mind in this whole thing.
Sorry.
We're gonna skip this. Blip 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 blip. Is the fact that we were just like, oh, do you want me to tell your wife while I'm out there that you'll be gone for the night? And he's like, she'll find it out eventually. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, she'll find out eventually. You know, yeah, she'll find out. Let's see the panda and ostrich. Look at them. I'm so stoked. Hey, stop it. All right. So what do we got? So we want giraffe needs 2. Zebra needs 1. What about the where's the panda? I don't know what the panda's gonna want. I guess I could look it up. It's not on the poster. Boo. Alright, so giraffe, 2 herbal, 1 vegetable. 1-1. Panda, 2-2. Ostrich, 2-2. So we need a lot. So we essentially need 1 to 7 herb. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we'll probably have to come back. 5. Oh yeah, okay. And then get out of here. And then I guess we'll just do 5 fetchies. We'll just stack it. We'll just stack it all the way to the ceiling. There we go. And there's no more that I can fit on there, right? Yep. Okay. All right. We'll just have to come back. That's, I guess. We do need to save what's her name in order to get all the other endings, so let's do that. Because why not? Alright, there. I can't help myself. We're going immediately doing ostrich. We'll do ostrich first, and then we'll do panda. Just in case. We'll do ostrich and panda. Then we'll. I'm not looking forward to being eaten again by a zebra butt, so we're gonna hold off on zebra for now. Hey. Get off the roof. Get off the roof. You need your ticket. Sir, do you have a permit? So do you have your trolley riding permit? Visit all enclosures. I don't believe you. I've definitely been to the Panda before. Or the I don't think I've been to a Panda before. I think that's new. I'm pretty sure. Alright. Are they some... Okay, so that would be 1/4. And then 1/6. 1/6 is... what was it? 17 is what I did last time. Did y'all hear a voice just now? Am I going crazy? Okay. Okay, so it wasn't the window. What was that? I was looking right at the window when that jump scare happened. I don't think there's a visual component to that. Yeah, like, Knight, you're with me on that, right? where was that? What was that about? I'm loving the UV here. Nice little touch. Maybe? Okay, let's see here. Ooh, look at all those fellas. Come over to you seeing a hitbox rather than it. Maybe? I'm here to pick up the phone. This time I'll be picking up phones.
Night Zookeeper, Paul Connolly.
Are you the
my God.
yeah, there's like, hey, this is my locker, the locker combination of my husband.
Ma'am,
I have it written down right here because I was gonna break into it. Okay, got that. Yoinky. And boop, 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 boop. I guess I'm also looking at the posters, because why not? Okay, so what story is this one? Levington. I don't know if I've seen this one. Oh. Okay. Every time, huh? Okay. Doc showed me all the equipment, explained the tasks. I wrote down the important points to make sure I don't forget anything. Got my parasite shot. Feeling at ease. The doc's great. Looking like I could finally lucky with the boss. Yeah, you know? Egg. Oh. With overalls. His name's Egbert. Oh, that's our Egbert, isn't it? I was like, Egbert's a good name, and I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Alright. And now... let's check out the ostriches! Why does it almost sound like the Dilophosaurus? Go-Go! Go-Go, the ostrich is really funny. Katarina, Annie, and Bobby. Sup, guys? I wonder if the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park got the soundbite of ostriches, and that's what they actually sound like. I mean, I imagine they did their research, so I don't doubt it. Oh boy, what's with the stream? Okay, that was weird. What is going on with the stream? Okay. Get this, because why not? Is it laggy for y'all, or is that just on my end? Okay, we got some wounds. Alright. I'm seeing a coding issue on OBS side. So something's happening somewhere on my computer. Oh, y'all also... Oh, okay. Maybe doing that will help. Instead of double dipping. I had display capture on as well. Maybe? Alright, so we want... Let's get you. Okay, so that's 2. They're running. Okay. So Amy's one of them. Katarina's also one of them. Okay. So it's either Amy or Katarina. And we need blood and we need poop. Because, you know, those are the two. As everyone knows. Okay, any poop doo doo ba doo ba doo, any poop doo doo ba doo. Y'all have any other? So I see there should be 4. Right. That's 3. Yeah, yours I'm missing. Did you eat? You ate. If you ate, you pooped. You know what the age-old saying? When you eat, you poop. Is it over here? No. Where? Oh, where? Where? Oh, where did you poop? Where? Oh, where could it be? Where? Oh, where could it have gone? I look over, it's just one of them is just eating it. It's just like, oh. Okay, so what did I say? It was Katarina and not Gogo. Gogo, you're safe. Bobby, you're also safe. Wait, did I see Steam? When you're Steam, there's poop. You know what they say. It's like, where is he getting? I was kidding. You guys see that, right? There's no feces here. But because of the steam coming off the ground, they were right. When there's steam, there's poop. They were 100% correct. Alright, got that. And then... Gogo, you weren't one of them. Katarina, you were. Sorry, girl. If you guys would have given me literally any other sign, I wouldn't need to do that. Bobby, you weren't. Annie? Shit, I don't remember which one I was. Okay. Gogo, you're fine. Katarina, Amy. Okay, it's not Amy. Pretty good. Bobby? Oh, right. It wasn't light. It was sound. Pretty good, though. I'm checking out the new animals that they dropped the other day, I want to say. How about you? How have you been? Annie, is it you? Oh, wait. I know it's you. I know it's Annie and Katarina because those are the only two that I have, like, sound things for. Oh. So, alright. Come here, Annie. But how have you been? I got a burger at a nearby like festival thing, and I got green apple lemonade. Doing better since I was sick, but I saw that they're adding a Lighthouse Dodo game. Yeah. Oh wait, is it on Game Pass? Wait, hold on. Isn't there like different prices to Game Pass now? Isn't that like a whole thing now? Like which version? Is it? All right. But that is on my radar, and I do plan on playing it. I think next week. I plan on playing that next week. I want to have a lighthouse costume for that. Yeah, at that point I'm just gonna pay for the game, straight up. Like, why would I pay $30 for a Game Pass to play one game that the game is probably gonna end up being $30 anyway? You know? All right, so now throw that in here. Get this trolley up in here. And now, what do these guys got? Do they have meningitis? All right, so just blood. All right, so they just got antimicrobial. So Annie is the issue. All right. All right, tranquilizer. We're gonna get Annie with that. Annie, come here, girl. Psst, 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 psst. Try not to transform into something right away. Which one are you? Go. Are you Annie? Bobby? Are you Annie? Dang it! What are you? Where's your... Okay, that's terrifying. What are those? Are those spider hands? Oh boy. Those look like spider hands to me. Yeah, right. I mean, it's not arachno. Oh, what is that? What was that? What is that long range? What is this, a boss fight? What is that? Oh, no. None of that. No, thank you. Oh, he cut me off. This one's smart. Is it on the roof now? It is on the roof now. What was it? What's sidestepping me? Charge! It's charging me! Luckily, you're not gonna hit me with long-ranged attacks. Oh, wait, no! Ostriches, get out of the way! It tracks! Oh, okay, is it? Okay, it's going off on its own. All right, we're just gonna swipe a few more of these. There you are. Come on down. Come on. Where are you going? Looks like you're missing a rib cage, a couple of arms, hands. So, I think I might need to make another Zoochosis, a new Zoochosis costume. Because this is the first bird-like one that we've seen. And the way that they went about it was actually pretty cool. So I kind of want to do something similar. Do not. Do not. Oh. So I think there's no way to not have the lethal injection fight. You do that, I'm gonna be gone. It's not gonna be there forever. Alright, let's answer the phone this time.
Night Zookeeper, Paul Connolly.
What's with the mail?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, this isn't him talking. He's just like, he calls the wife a bitch, and then we just, and then I hate him more. And it's like, hey, meat's gonna be delivered. He's like, oh, meat. Oh, yes, it's delivering. Mm-hmm. Totally meat. I have arachnophobia, but do it. I wonder if there's a way that I could do it where it's not as jarring. Like, cute creepy? You know? Where it's like, it's Mama Dodo, but like, it really hugs that line between cute and creepy a little better. This is just a creepy costume versus a cute creepy costume. But you know. Maybe, you know, I'll see. I'll see. Okay. Panda. Cartoon in which style though? Cartoons have so many diverse styles. And if you got the points, you can redeem a new Mama. Oh, I already have a bendy one. Do I have one already up? Let's see. I do not have one that's currently up. However, if you go to the Discord, we have a Mama Dodo museum with all our previous costumes in there. Or if you join us tomorrow, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you're going to see a lot of Mama Dodo costumes. You're going to see a lot of them. By a lot, I mean all of them. And you may or may not know, I have 35 Mama Dodo costumes so far. So you're welcome to check out either of those. This is Panda. We're going to check out the Panda. So it's going to be under a fourth. We're looking at, it's not a third, it's more than a fourth. I'm going to say like 42? It was like 45. And this is, oh, this is 30%. Easy. Easy maths. Quick maths. Let me know if you, because the Zoochosis one isn't in the thing. If you want me to switch to Zoochosis Mama Dodo, or Infected Mama Dodo, just redeem any and just tell me. And then I'll manually switch for you. Panda Station. Oh, I didn't hit the button. I was going to say, like, Drake, where's the trolley? Drake, where's the body of Christ? Still one of my favorite memes ever. Where's the body of Christ? Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm coughing, nauseous. Good thing I had this thing to tell me that I was feeling that. Dodo, where's the lighthouse? Bro, that's why I saw that game. I was like, we have to play it. I guess we've seen the panda before. I don't remember the panda at all.
Whoa!
Yeah, I think I would have remembered that. I think I would have remembered that panda. Like, damn. I mean, the game's treating me. The door was open. Like, it's treating me like I have. But I think it would be fun drawing Mama Dodo in different cartoon styles. Maybe that could be a fun, like, art artistic challenge where it's like, cool, we're gonna draw Mama Dodo in Billy and Mandy, in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, in Gravity Falls, in Dexter's Laboratory, like really kind of like stretch our diversity muscles a bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. Grim Reaper Dodo would be really funny. Okay, so we are full on Trank. A part of me wonders if what we need to do is like, we need to Trank before we go back. Or it's like, oh, I know what it is. Trank them in the head, run back, get those things printed out, and then by the time we get back, they're done. Maybe? Well, we want to see the transformation. I think it's fine. What we're doing right now, they're just giving me so many tranks that I'm like, I feel like I should be using it. Oh, wait, hold on. Where's our little iPad that's just like, hey, luckily I had a good boss. Huh. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any of the things? Why not? Is the game bugged? Alright. Let's check out the pandas. Maybe? I mean, you should be getting one for every area. Muffin! Oh, Cookie, May May, Mochi. I love all those names. Those are really good names. Alright, honestly. Y'all watch the pan. You know what? We'll feed them. I need to run to the bathroom real quick. So I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna feed them. And y'all are gonna keep an eye on them. Make sure nothing happens. Make sure they don't transform. Yeah, May and Muffins, they're hungry. Yeah, Cookie, oh, Cookie has a mark on them. How about you, Mochi? Do you have a mark on you? Cookie's sus. I'm not seeing anyone else. Okay. Alright. Alright, y'all keep an eye on them. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick. Hello, I'm back. How did everything go? What? You liar. I was so confused. I want you to be aware, as soon as you said, oh, take your bets if he's gonna die, because the light was red, so I thought they did transform. So I was like, oh no. Alright, that's 3 of them. Well, if Mochi isn't showing a fever, I don't think the rest of them are either. Yeah. Alright, let's see here. Got 1 poop in the vacuum. Muffin loves to eat, though. Oh, did they go, like, for seconds? What happened? With the name Muffin, listen, I only know a handful of muffins. They all like to eat. And that's not, like, derogatory. That's love to eat affectionate. Force? Damn. Muffin? What are you doing in here? Okay, Muffin's a little sus. What the hell was that about? Okay, Cookie's angry. Okay, Cookie and Mochi looks like they have marks. Alright, Cookie, Mochi, you two are... Cookie and Mochi, not sitting in a tree. Let's see here. Cookie... Nope. Nope, come here, Mochi. Okay. Interesting. Cookie has symptoms, Mochi does not. Where did Mochi go? Found Mochi. Yeah. Mochi's the problem. Mochi's the problem. Okay, Cookie, I need your blood. Need your blood, Mochi, or Cookie. Muffin was just a big eater and just went into the human room, but, you know, whatever. Alright. Again, I don't think there's a reason for me to need to do that. Okay. What is with these frame drops, dude? Okay. Mochi is gonna transform. Am I gonna throw up on my way up here? 3, 2, 1. No! Alright, hold on. What happens if I just do the 60 again? Apply. Nope. Okay, we need... Oh, I should probably get that. There we go. Come on. There we go. Alright. Oh, what if we don't put the trolley away? I wonder if that has, like, certain, like, check marks in the code that says they can transform now. I mean, I guess we want to see the pandas transform. But my efficient mind is just like, hey, what are you doing later? Okay. Alright. Put this away. Okay, we got the poop sucker. We got tranquilizers in. And we want cookie? Yeah. Oh, no, we want mochi. We want mochi. There you are. Oh, that's terrifying. Honestly, I think it's the scariest one so far. You can't get me, haha. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere, haha. What are you gonna do, huh? Breathe fire? Oh! He didn't breathe fire! He breathed acid! He threw up on me! What the hell is that about? No, no. Get over here. Okay, gotta reload. Haha! Luckily, they just stand there menacingly. What are you gonna do? More throw up? Ha ha ha. Oh, it goes through it? I was hiding behind stuff. Haha. Oh, get away from me, you poppy playtime huggy wuggy looking. Look at that, dude. They did such a good job with these. Don't be wrong, we've been having some issues here and there, but the models of the creatures, they did a very good job in. I'll get some good inspiration from it. Good job, everybody. The animals are healthy. We really do need to add a vomit tag to this game, don't we? We've delivered some fresh meat. Head to the hub and deal with it. Sir, yes, sir. Alright. Into here with you. Alright. Throw that in here. Throw that in there. Looks like we're good to go. Now we need to go back to base. Right. The meat. Alright. Hub. We also need to get more food. Getting more food, getting more food. But. Oh, we got two. I forgot that we have two. Oh, she's dead, isn't she? I waited around, didn't I?
Hello? Damn. I mean, Night Zookeeper Paul Connolly.
Don't worry, Paul, it's me.
Oh, I definitely do. I thought you had...
And there's a long-necked pig. You see, Paul, dozens of parrots.
What the hell is the mother?
What the hell is the mother?
Damn.
Basically,
About this in advance. I
it's
didn't
just
sign
like,
up for this.
hey, I'm not
Of course
blending
you did.
human
You
beings.
signed an NDA. I've seen what...
Got it.
And if by chance you want to tell someone about these...
As if that's not legally binding, by the way. NDAs can't make you do something illegal. As far as I'm aware, at least. Look, our reflection. Okay. Let's see here. Can I, like... If only you would have saved her. I forgot! Okay, I was so excited to see the pandas. I forgot that she died after if you didn't get to her. Alright, let's see what... Okay, so, obviously, she's dead. We got some more meat. Is our wife still out there? Hold on. Well, we didn't... Hold on. If you've given access to the recipes for the affected specimens in the kitchen factory, feed them. Okay, so let's see here. Where is our... endings tracker? Here it is. Okay. 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 We did not save Sarah. We answered Linda's call. We did not save Sarah. So, because we didn't save Sarah, we're already on this. Okay, so we're gonna die early. That's what I'm getting here. Because the only way that we even get even close to the end here is if we have saved Sarah, which we didn't. So no matter what we do here, it's an either or. Well, hold on, let's see this. Can I not? Oh, do I need to like pick this up? Oh, alright. Oh! Don't worry, we got the hand. Oh, wait. I didn't save Sarah. But I could still get into this now. Interesting. So we can check this out ourselves. I never checked this out without Sarah being here.
Dr. Oliver Metzger. What a surprise. Doc really turned out to be a doctor.
But in philosophy. What if it was a doctorate in, like, ethics? Let's answer.
I know it's you, son of a bitch.
Hey, take it easy, Paul Connolly. What's going on?
Like you don't know, you bastard. You think just because I'm poor, I'm an idiot?
A little
You
bit.
infected me with some crap and expect me to die like the animals in your fucking zoo?
Laughs and snores. Or snorts.
Shut up! You think I wouldn't figure it out, Dr. Oliver Metzger? You said there was no lab here. So why the hell am I standing in one talking to you now?
Oh, Paul, here you go again. Your ass shouldn't be where you are right now. This is a restricted area, not related to the zoo or your duties.
I think that was the other diversion.
Yes,
It's
I
answering the
did
phone versus
inject
not
you with
answering
a
the phone.
parasite, but not to harm you, rather to protect you. Without it, your job would be much harder.
He makes the joke because he laughs at the word harder.
I'll come back in the morning and remove it. You'll get your money after the first shift, and no one will get hurt. Just finish what you started. It's almost over, Paul.
I wonder if there is an ending where I actually live.
Asshole. You think I'll believe a word you say after this?
You'll have to, Paul. You're locked in, and I'm the only one who can open the door. Plus, I've got an NDA signed by your own hand, right in front of me.
NDA doesn't make you a more
Offering you
like
way out of this
invincible.
tricky situation, Paul. The choice is yours. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Finish the job.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Damn. Most likely all the information is stored on external drives. Without them, this computer is just an empty shell. I'm at a dead end. Looks like Miss Summers was right to be worried about her husband.
Oh, that was the other diverging path. Like, actually learning about him. Ooh, right. Let's call?
Hello? Paul, is that you? You said they took your phone.
Yes, my dear, I found where they hid it. Sorry for not giving you the meat, but it's for the best. Turns out it's inedible. Only suitable as animal feed. My phone is about to die. Go to sleep. I'll be back home in the morning and I'll tell you everything.
But the NDA.
Take care. I love you.
Alright, cool. So we made sure that the wife won't be killed off for trying to get the police. Okay. Wasn't there another thing that I wanted to do? Oh, right. Was it this one? We need to get the thing from the locker. Nope. I think it was maybe this one. Oh, good thing or my hand glitches through the locker like that. That's pretty good. Oh, there we go. There's the floppy disk. Data loading for CJ. We're testing experimental meds on the mutated specimens. They're effective until the later mutation is complete. After transformation, the organism becomes resistant to any treatment up to the stage of extreme exhaustion. Oh, that's what I needed. I needed to have gotten this in order to get the infected recipes. Damn it. Anyway, this is the thing. This is normal. Y'all are probably tired of me showing this off to you, but I want to show it to you anyway. This is Freddy Krueger. This is just normal. And then I think it's to probably show off just like, you could open the lockers, look. This is Alien from like the overalls and the acid blood, etc. So based inspirations, by the way. All these are just really good horror movies. And this just a bunch of flies? Is it The Fly? I think it might be The Fly. Let's get in that computer. Let's get in.
Most likely all the information is stored on external drive. Damn. Am I supposed to be a hacker? Without a password, this floppy disk is useless. I can't do anything here without help.
Password? P-A-S-S. Can I not type it? Can I really not guess it? I was going to say mother. Alright, before we continue, we'll just do a little bit of ad break. Don't worry, I won't move on without you. See y'all in a sec. But we are going to look around a little bit. We are going to... In fact, it would probably be a good idea to restock on our food a little, too. While everything's happening. So we literally can't even log into the computer until that. Gotcha. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this. Let's get more food. Gotta have more food. Gotta have more food. I don't know why you need a thing to open it. You gotta need more food. Gotta have more food. More food. Gotta have more food. Let's see what the next person is. Because again, we usually savor, so we don't see another meat supply usually. Are you alive? Part of me wants to help you. Free food. Oh, fresh food. Midnight Legends. I have no idea what those are. They're adorable, though. Are those marketable? My God. And then... I guess we'll just grind this guy, too. Luckily, he doesn't wake up. Look at that. It's just that simple. All the diseases that are with that. My God. Okay, look at this. Herb. Vegetable. Vegetable. Oh. Well, good enough, I guess. Oh, can I, like, mess with this? I mean, I wouldn't want to open it, but at the same time, you never know. You know? You never know. I'm trying to see if there's any other, like, little secrets here and there. Okay. Get this back in the trolley. Gotta get this back in the trolley. Gotta get this back in the trolley. Nobody can deny. Alright, so that's good to go. And welcome back. I just got some food. Got a few more meat. The dude was definitely dead. As far as I can tell. And let's just go ahead and do the zebra. And then more than likely, we'll just die. As soon as we do the zebra. So hopefully we won't... It won't be via butt. Hopefully. Okay, let's see here. Let me see something. Yeah, okay. So we have this, and then we have the diagnosis, diagnoses, etc. Okay. Because we have the thing now, right? That's all the different storage rooms. Feed the animals to obtain fecal samples, blah, blah, blah. Create and administer a vaccine of the... Because I thought it was like, you unlocked the recipes. And it's like, I'm confused. Infected. Oh. I imagine it's so that it would calm them down. At least that's what it was previously. Anyway, we're in Zebra, right? Zebra. Ooh. So it's like less than 10%, so it's like 8%-ish. I was just under. Still very good though. Oh, 15%. Perfect. I love it when math be mathin'. Haha! Zebras are gonna love it. They're like, this is slightly off. It just refuses to eat. Me, when I was growing up, I was a very picky eater, unfortunately. And my brother and I were both picky eaters in opposite directions, so it was a pain. Oh no!
Oh no, that's shitty.
I really can't just inject myself with something, huh? huh? Hey man, how you doing? Oh! His face became a butt, but, you know. Sure. Get all this. Then get all this. Oh, right, I'm out of... I have too many tranks. See, this is what I'm talking about. We have the third one here, but we didn't have the fourth one in the other one. Not feeling too well. Can't call the doc. The phone only receives calls. I think I'm about to throw up. Yeah, it's 3 out of 4. Oh, right. 3 out of 4. I'm dumb. This is 3 out of 4. Okay, we got all the materials that we need from here. And now we go. Okie dokie. Oh, more materials. More posters. Alright, what's our zebra names again? We are looking at Pixel. Pixel's very good. Inky, Tux, and Splotch. Pixel the zebra is pretty based. And then we'll just go ahead and grab you as well. Yeah, perfect. What's up, y'all? Hey. Both of you, relax. Tux. Tux, you just... You guys good? Alright, Pixel is definitely one of them. As far as if it's the one, we'll see. Angie. No, you're fine, Ratty. How you doing? By the way, Zoochosis, infected Mama Dodo is redeemable. Feel free to use any of it if you want to see infected Mama Dodo. So, if you so desire. But how have you been? How are you doing? Alright. So, temp's a little up. Good, 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 good. I'm glad you've been good. Oh, no. Well, that works. And then... Honestly, yeah. We're gonna take some blood. Alright, Tux. You don't care about sounds. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Okay. Chef Mama Dodo. Why didn't it go through? That's odd. Do you want Chef or do you want Infected? I'll switch for you. It's Chef time. Well, I haven't added the Infected one. So if you want Infected, you get Infected. If you want Chef, I can give you Chef. You tell me. I put it like as a beginning thing, but I didn't go into like streamer bot code to add everything. Hell yeah, Infected. Yeah, perfect. Alright. Co. Unfortunately, you did miss Ostrich. You did miss the 2 infected animals that we haven't seen before, which was Panda and Ostrich. Honestly, they were pretty good. They were pretty good. The Panda looked almost like Poppy Playtime because it was like really tall with really long arms and claws. And then the Ostrich almost looked like a spider bird. They did a really good job, in my opinion, on the models. Alright, you need to come here, Tux. It was a giant enemy ostrich, yeah. Alright, let's see here. Let's try UV flashlight. Not on those. Inky. Nothing on you. Are you guys sensitive to light? No. Kind of. Tux. Alright, Splotch. It's you. Actually, it doesn't matter. I realize now it does not matter which one it is, because as soon as we go in there, they're going to transform. So... Okay. Maybe the game is meant to play... Oh, wait, hold on. Did we pick up the zebra poop? I don't think we did. I don't think we picked up the zebra poop. I don't think we picked it up. We didn't. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, do you mind? All you are doing is fighting each other and throwing up. And fine dining and breathing. I'm gonna need you to calm down. Alright. Now we're good to go. Again, we are... Splotch is the guy. He's the infected man. Well, infected zebra. And all we need to do is make sure that we don't get eaten by a butt. Again, if I had a nickel for every time I got eaten by a zebra butt, I would then have 2 nickels. It's a little weird how when they get cured, they just refer to a horrific body. Right? It's just like, it just goes back to place like there's no issues whatsoever. Not even stretch marks, which is honestly wild. Alright, what do we end up having? So, like, sometimes, like, I get stretch marks when I exercise, let alone transform into a amalgamation of flesh and limbs. Alright, so we have you. We have antimicrobial substance, the treatments of meningitis. Oh, these guys have meningitis. Vomiting and, you can kind of see it, blood here. Okay. Alright, Splotch. I'm going to get in there with a trank, and then I'm going to be like, cool, I'm going to trank him so that he doesn't transform. And then he's going to transform anyway. Because that's how it's been so far. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Is that correct? Am I stupid? Don't answer that. No, that was correct. Yeah, really. It's like, housekeeping! Let's go! Ah! Alright. Alright, Splotch, you and me. Hey, Inky. Pixel. Uh-huh. Oh, I knew it! Oh, he's charged immediately! Run! Run! Pixel, get out of there! Uh-oh. Ooh! He's charging! Oh no! Please not again! Haha! Shot you in the butt, hee hee, or face. The parasite mimics sickness, which is why it's not the ones that are actively sick. Oh, hi. Oh! You weren't even aiming for me that time. Get out of here. I have a concussion. For being attacked by a zebra butt. Okay. Where are you? Where is it? I hear you. Get over here, you spindly little guy. Did you just fart? What is this? Oh, does it make clones of itself? Y'all saw that, right? It was a clone. No, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. We're playing Ring Around the Rosie. And you're the Rosie. With pockets full of posy. Okay. Okay, it's going, it's going. Where are you coming up from? Where are you? I hear you. There you are. Got you. Oh, I reloaded too soon. I reloaded too soon. Believe it. Uh-oh. I don't have my thing. Why don't I have my thing? Alright, well. Either it's gonna die, or it's gonna sit there for a little bit. I don't know what happened to my thing that I had. Did I shoot it accidentally at first? I thought I had it. Maybe I gave him the wrong one first. I don't know. We're fine. Hey man, how you doing? Did you miss me? Look at this thing. Let's get a good look at it. Wild. And here we see the reverse. It really does just flip it. See, they're just fine. They're just a little... They got a little tummy ache. That's all. So you could literally just fight them and leave and then come back. Got it. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, zebras are done. I have a sneaking suspicion. I will, by the time I get back in the main area, I will just transform. One way to find out. Because we didn't save the girl. There we go. Grab the trolley. This is why we got all the new stuff first, so that we can see all the new transformations, just in case I messed up. And I kind of did. Let's go back to the hub, see if there's anything new to look at. Or if I'm just going to keel over and die. As is life. What are you doing on my roof? Get out of this roof. Too bad I can't, like, see on top of it or something. Alright, let's see here. Will I die as soon as I step out of here? Or will I live? If it goes straight into a cutscene, we'll know. Hello! Oh, oh.
Hey, Paul, how are you feeling?
Probably not very well.
Oh, Paul, you're doing great. The other subjects have been paralyzed for an hour by this point. You probably noticed that the creatures haven't bothered you.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Thanks to the parasite. Now we just need to decide whether to remove it from you or not. I'm sorry, Paul. Mother is against it. Seems she's very hungry. She only eats what she kills herself.
Okay.
Paul. Tell Mother.
All right, so we got a new ending. Not a good ending, but a new ending, at the very least. So we saw the new guys. Paul didn't save the journalist. Thanks to the call of Lily, she didn't go to the police and remained safe and sound, but Paul couldn't escape the Dark Zoo's walls, becoming food for the monster. Let's see our thing. Signed the NDA, talked to Lily, didn't give the meat to Lily. Answered, didn't save Sarah, called Lily, lost in the zoo. Okay. So what we want this time... See, are there... So, ooh, interesting. Let's give the meat to Lily. Let's go give the meat to Lily. Answer Linda's call. Save Sarah. And then, like, try to go up into this branching area here. Because we don't... We got the best one, which I think is this one. Shed Light on Evil. Which is that we just took their car. Which was really funny. This one, we took the axe to the car, which was also very funny. But I don't want those middle ones. Let's give the meat to the family and then go up here and then being like, we saved them, but at what cost? Kangaroo! I'm pretty sure I got the good ending. Is that the one where you take the car home and everyone's safe? Hippo! New game X4. I was wondering how many pluses. Yeah. Everyone was alive, I'm pretty sure. Anyway.
Before we begin, I want you to put down your scribble.
Yeah, I'll sign it. I'll sign the thing. I have to sign the thing. There's literally only one other ending if you don't sign it. And we already got that.
You made the right move.
Right, you made the right move. F you. Okay, let's feed the meat to our family. Feed the meat to the family. Who doesn't feed meat to the family? Am I right?
Here, who knows how long ago? You're not answering calls. I'm worried.
Well, there is another one
Lily,
where
sorry.
well, it's not
Everything's okay.
good, but
They put me on probation,
I think
but I had to start immediately.
your wife
You should
dies,
just I'll be back in
and
the morning to tell you everything.
but everything else is fine. So you take the axe to the car in anger and frustration, something like that. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, boo. All right, cool. Let's get the meat to our wife and children. You don't guess where it's from. Surely nothing bad will happen to them. Surely.
Damn. This feels like theft, but I guess one time won't hurt.
Sure it wasn't to kill your infected family? Well, that's an option?
Lily, are you here?
Yeah.
Take this. Give Gina a kiss from Daddy. It's time for me to work.
Okay. Alright, well, they're infected. Job done. Okie dokie. So what do we have today? We have hippo, zebra, kangaroo, giraffe. Do we have hippo on here? We do have hippo on here. So let's just do a whole bunch of like just full on herb and full on vegetable. It's just a theory. A dodo theory. And in case you don't know what a dodo theory is, it's a theory where it's completely baseless in Goes Extinct. But is fun to think about. That's what a dodo theory is. It's fun to think about, but totally not real. Alright, we're good. We got in there. Let's see. First one on our list. Let's do kangaroo. It's been a hot minute since we've done wallaby. And we did zebra last time, so... This time, we'll immediately come back here. Save her. Stop jumping on the dip. Which one are you? Hey, do you mind at least opening the door so I can kick its ass? No? Okay. I was gonna say, I have a rifle. I know for a fact I could make something. Alrighty then, let's get this started. Let's go face off against these wallabies. I would try to make an Australian accent, but honestly, I would need to hear one and then be able to even attempt. Be able to attempt one of them. Oh, can I not? Can I really? Oh, okay, good. Yoink. Hee hee. Ho ho ho. I wonder if... Huh? What happens if I touch it? Ah! Oh. Oh. Good to know. I just die. That, no, it didn't count as an ending. I just die. Oh, right. I should probably get them their food first. Just a thought. Wallaby. Okay, so it's 1/6. 1/6 ended up being like what, 17%, something like that. Yeah. What do you mean 1% off? It's 2 out of 2. There's no deviation. What do you mean 1%? This is 1/12. Oh God. It's less than 10%. 8? What? The deviation is 0.0. What do you mean it's 2%? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys. Guys, don't worry. It's fine. In case you're wondering, I'm fine. It's fine. Surely nothing will pop up behind me. Oh, nothing did pop up behind me. That's honestly wild. We will answer this one.
Oh, thank God.
What about my husband? This is their locker combination, and also their social security number.
Paul, I'm begging you.
I'm just calling random places where I'm giving that information out. Alright, get all this. I really don't need tranks, but here we are. Okay, what is our person? Oh, I don't see a thing. We don't have a person to learn about in our thingamajig. That's just like, yeah, no, they told me to eat this weird worm looking thing, and I was like, sure, they gave me $5, why not? Interesting. All right, now Penny, Sally, Amy, Wally. Honestly, I like Penny more the most so far of those names. Got that, perfect. Hey guys. Alright, well, I know which two I have my suspicions for. Alright, Wally. Alright, Penny and Wally are the two. %. So which one shows symptoms? Which one shows symptoms between the two, and that's it. Okay. Okay, nothing there. Where is... Where are they? Okay, I see 3. Where's the other one? Over Over here? No. Why do I get static from this? Oh, that makes more sense. Penny and Amy. Oh, whoops. Penny and Amy are the two problem children. Penny and Amy sitting in a tree. Don't know how they got up there. They're probably infected. Alright, now we got poop, and then we're gonna do you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and well, did y'all poop in here? Okay. All right. Well, Amy, I'm sorry, but you're it. What did he say? Not a bone? Or something? Alright, we already have Penny's poop, so that's all that matters. And then we need Penny's blood. Penny! Sorry, girl. I know you're not feeling well, but you're acting a bit sus. And by sus, I mean it looks like you got like worms in your ear. So we're gonna... Why'd I say that? I don't like what I just said. I should have just said an inner ear infection. I probably just should have just said that, because that's a lot less traumatizing. Okay, I think that's everybody. Now, got all a Penny. Amy is the one we're going for, but again, they transform immediately. So what's the point in figuring that out? Alright, I'll wait my turn this time. It's like crossing the road, I guess. I'll just die immediately. At first I was like, it's probably just a scare. It's like, nope, it will kill you. You will die. Look at all that poop. Go away. Poop sucker. There you go. Actually, you know what? No, you're staying with me. Alrighty. Alright, we got the blood. Now, what do we got? Okay, so poop and sound. Okay. Substance treatment of allergic manifestation. So it's allergies. Oh, I can see how that would drive them crazy. Alright, Amy. This time, I'm still gonna try to... I am still going to try to use a trank. I can speak. I can speak. Yoink. Give me that poster. And give me that poster. And that poster. And that poster. And that poster. I don't know why... It literally restarts every single time, so I don't know why I'm doing that, but... Alright, Amy. Oh. Oh. Well. Oh, no! This is not passable! Put the thing away! So, can confirm, tranking him won't do anything. Reload. We're gonna move. Haha. Okay, so there is no around this. Uh-oh, it's invisible. Well, it was invisible. Nope. Oh, it's charging. Where is it? Where are you? I at least have my eye on all of them, so they're not gonna die. Oh, there you are. Why are you going in there? Gotcha. Oh, you're invisible, aren't you? Let him go! Let him go! You just pooped now? I mean, to be fair, I would also potentially poop in this situation. So I really can't hold it against you. Okay, they just went off. Alright, where are they? Okay, it's coming back down this way, I think? Where is it? Is it invisible? Alright, I'm gonna grab this then. Where are you? I'm so sorry. Yeah, y'all stick with me. I'm gonna protect you. Probably. There you are. Oh, I need a run. Oh, I need a run. All right. Okay. Time to get out. And close the thing. Get the thing again. I know that was very descriptive. Close the thing, get the thing again. Man, I should write books. I should write narratives for games and all the things. And make videos on the internet. Alright, and there you go. Alright, recticare. It's probably reacticare, but whatever. Alright, where is this? What? Alright, well, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, good. It was just a bug. And this is just a bug. Good job. York. And now we are going to go back to base to save what's her name, and everything's going to be just fine. Right? I'm not going to forget this time. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Hey, what's with the ma'am? There was this woman.
Yes, sir.
And then he drops the "she's such a bitch" line, which is honestly crazy. Forget whom? My God, who could it be? All right. All right, that is now in. And there we go. And now we're gonna go back. Let's go make sure the girl doesn't die. Because apparently if you leave her for a single round, it means that she just dies, I guess? Because we take her out, and she's, I wouldn't say fine. Fine is a strong word for her situation. But she's alive. Alright. And then I'm like, oh, there's a meat delivery. Who could it be? And it's like, oh my gosh, it's a woman. That's crazy. And then they just were like, hey, that's a woman.
Don't worry, Paul. It's me again.
Oh, I definitely.
Oh yeah, you give the explanation. He's like, haha, NDA. That means you have to do illegal shit.
I gave a piece of meat to my.
You did what?
Oh right, we tell him that we gave a piece of meat to the wife.
Sorry, Paul, but it's really ridiculous. Life gives you a chance to become a worthy, well-off person, and you take the easy way. Descending to simple.
Got it. Just tell me where my phone is. I'll call Lily.
I won't allow it, chum. If you call your wife, it'll be a direct violation of the NDA. No, Paul, you won't drag me into the...
Right, it's basically saying, oh, you
This is just madness. But I guess I have to do it. Hello? The night zookeeper, Paul Connolly.
Why so grim? Problems?
Yeah, she's alive.
What the hell is going on here? Fuck. I almost threw a live girl into the grinder. Where did she come from?
Alive? Well, 20 millixylazine and she's still with us. But fortunately, this problem is easy to solve. Pull the drop lever and the girl will turn into a couple of bricks, just like you've dealt with before. Easy peasy.
Fuck! I suspected this place wasn't clean, but why else such big bucks? I can grab a couple of bodies, but I'm not going to get involved in crime and risk my family. Fuck you.
Well, no one is asking you. In general, look at your hands.
My hands?
What the hell is this? Did you poison me?
Poison?
I was gonna say it's infected.
Desperate housewife. No, Paul. I infected you.
What kind of poison
By the way,
makes
I did it
worms
for
in your
own
blood?
good. You see dozens of parasites spread out of the mother every day. They infiltrate our animals, and they transform, to put it mildly. Well, let's say they mutate.
What the hell is this damn mother?
Not much is known about her, so they study her. But right now, the same parasite is squirming inside you. And if you behave well, they'll take it out. And if not, who knows?
I think there's an ending where we become like a monstrous infected monster, which is, I think, an interesting one to try to aim for. I don't know how we get it, but we're gonna do it. All right, rescue. There we go.
I'm definitely not going to do this.
Good thing I have the nudity filter on. Twitch is just like, is that a woman? Just hits the panic
Could be
button.
okay. Just breathe.
Yeah, can we give her like a blanket or something? No? Okay. Well, luckily she's just going to put that on. Alright, was it the middle locker, I think? Okay, we got his. Alright. Oh, that is one of the things up there. Oh, I wonder if this works. It doesn't. Okay. Probably round 2, if I had to guess. Bio waste filter. What is it why is it empty now and why is it not empty later? That's a very confusing thing. Alright, she's there. That's fine. I wonder what happens if we open... I want to see if she puts on different shirts. You know what I mean? Alright, let's at least do the Freddy Krueger one. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But I think that'd be a kind of a cool thing where it's like, if you put her down, but before you leave, if you open up different lockers, she'll wear different clothes. Hey, do you mind? Like roaches. Okay, so she's now rescued. So we're good to go on that level, right? Okay. Okay. Okay, meet the family. Answered Linda's call. Saved Sarah. We're on our way to the topmost, which is good. So far. We actually might be able to complete all 4 animals today. Alright, we got Wallaby. Now it's Giraffe. Giraffe! Giraffes are, I wouldn't say my favorite animal, but they're up there. I think they're really cool. They're definitely one of the most unique animals out there. Compared to, like, how would you describe a giraffe to someone who's never seen a giraffe? You know what I mean? It's like, imagine a horse with, like, 10 horses worth of necks. There you are. All right, we want, oh, perfect. 35% on the dot. And then the vegetables. Oh gosh. So let's do 10. Yikes. It should have been more like 14. It's fine. It's well within the range. Just the vegetables are a little light. They're not as fibrous, but it's gonna be delicious. All right, what do we got here? Who do we got? Who do we got? Oh no, not the cough. I wonder what it could be. I like the health one here, just because it's like, in case you didn't think you were already dying, we now have an indicator that can tell you that you're dying. Huh? Oh, that's just the giraffes being giraffes. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought that was an interactive thing where it's like, you get to mess with the power, and I'm like, what? What can we be able to mess with the power? Oh, here they are. Oh, wow. If I just turned around. There we go. Hello, I'm here. Give me that. It is me, the one that's infected. Don't you see? I am harmless for now. But surely there is something for me to learn about certain people in this game, but I don't see it. Why is it Chef Mama Dodo working? Can you tell me that Chef Mama Dodo. Okay, that is no, that should be working. It should be working, but I manually did it for you. And don't feel bad making me like manually manually change things. It should be working automatically. Yeah. I love it. I think I did a really good job with it. Oh, have you seen Mama Slotto yet, Piranha? You forgot? No, I double checked. It should be working. It's binded. I don't know why it's not working. Other costumes have worked, but for whatever reason, Chef Mama Dodo, even everything looks like it's on the up and up, isn't going through. So I'll just do it by hand. All right, Bo, Po, and Cleo. I think. What's up, guys? You're so tall. I should be petting these animals. What am I doing? Oh gosh, it's doing that thing again. There's a weird like visual glitch right now where I essentially have to switch from 30 to 60 FPS to like fix. I don't know why. Just stretch. You want some food? Alright, come on. I'm allowing that. That's funny. That's funny how that was flagged. Do you want to know how that was flagged? Do you want to guess what particular parts were flagged? Yeah. Yeah. It flagged you for give 'em head. It's like, listen, I appreciate moderator tool. I'm glad that you're trying to do what you're going to do, but read the rest of the statement if you're going to flag it, if you do not mind. All right, we'll do sound. I just have this little device that'll just yell at you. Come here, what's the problem? Oh, so it's you two. All right. All right, Poe and Cleo. All right, you don't care about sound. How about you, Poe? All right, that seems to be good. All right, looks like I am gonna need blood from both of you because you haven't given me any other indications. There you are. It's gonna be Poe, or Cleo, or Megan, or Megan. Poe, or Cleo. All right, and we're just gonna do boop. Give me that. Yeah, you can tell because they're behaving weird. Hey, come here, Poe. Come here, big guy. It's not even gonna hurt. It's not even gonna hurt. You're gonna be just fine. In fact, we're doing this in the bushes, so we're camouflaged. Come here. Come here, Cleo. Oh, this is a bad angle. Okay, there you go. I was gonna say, please. You guys just pooped, right? Just that meme of, like, looking up, like, please. Alright. And now... we should be good to go. Poe and Cleo are... we're all ready to... Bo is the only one who's just, like, just straight chilling. They're just like, you know what? We're good. Give me that. Surely me going this way won't cause any, like, reaction from me to... or is it always the first one? I think it's when we complete it and when we leave that they get mad. They're just like, ugh! I mean, that was a lot of poop, but I guess it wasn't. Alright. Into... is the game better than what it was on release? Yeah, it's better than it was on release. But there's still some issues with it. So it's not perfect. But they've kept on adding some stuff, and I've liked the models that they've done so far. And I like the new stuff that they've added. So it's better. Nocturnal, bleeding, and throwing up. Sure. Alright, so Poe's the problem. Whoops, accidentally did it twice. Why not? Just in case I accidentally get it wrong. We're going to switch to lethal injection right away. I haven't seen anything since the first time you played. Ah, gotcha. So, one of the things that they added, by the way, is endings tracker. So you can see how you're doing as far as the different endings and stuff. And here are all the different endings that you can get in this game. So they kind of went ham a bit on the different endings that you can get. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Are we going to get all of them? No, but every time that we replay this game to look at the different, like, animals, because they added pandas and ostriches. That's all I've seen so far new. Which the pandas look like a freaky Huggy Wuggy. So, and that's compliment, by the way. Like, I really like the design. And then the ostrich is kind of like a spider bird that, like, has like a long range. Oh yeah, they both have long range attacks, which is wild. Hopefully we can get them one more time, because it does seem to be kind of random. I wish if you've beaten the game, you could choose which ones to do instead of it just being random. Because I want to play with the new ones. Another spider. I said spider-like. It's not a spider per se, but it was triggering people's arachnophobia a bit. And it did kind of give me inspiration for another Mama Dodo costume. Hey, guys! Hey, how you doing? Oh, boy. Luckily, there isn't another spider thing around here. Whew. What makes you say that? What makes you say that? Where'd it go? Oh, he went away? Okay. Giraffe, I think, is the only one. Now that I think about it. It's giraffe and no ostrich. Can I now outrun an ostrich? Ugh. Oh, there he goes. Haha, got you. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think anyone else had multiple legs. It is funny you were talking about that with this with giraffe, because I think this is the main example of arachnophobia. Haha! It's definitely the one that got me interested in the game. Oh, okay, well. Is it stuck? Are you just daydreaming, my guy? Alright, well. Well, there you go. We're gonna take this as a W. Hey man, how you doing? You alright? Oh. Ugh. They did that, like, the spider, like, upside down. Oh, hi. How are you doing? That honestly kind of... This game should have arachnophobia mode, shouldn't we? We should probably... Not only is there a puking warning we need to do, but an arachnophobia warning, huh? We were making that... We were talking about that earlier. Like, I get stretch marks just for working out. What do you mean that they kind of... What do you mean that they get to transform, just go... They just sutured back together. Almost like their skin cleared up and their hair looks washed. Like, it was borderline like they came back from a sauna. And it's like, well, okay, I guess. Delivered some meat. You don't say. Now, what I will say... I mean, I think that would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? If they do transform. I think it would be interesting if they would transform. Sorry for description, but that would look like a meatball with realism involved. A meatball with realism involved. Kinda? Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. So now we go back and talk to her. But seeing the ostrich, though, did make me want to make another Mama Dodo Zoochosis costume, but with, like, spider wings. But I have a sneaking suspicion people are already so torn when it comes to the Zoochosis costume, with the infected costume. It's going to make it so much worse. It's going to be... Just make that a giraffe. Yeah. For me, it kind of almost looked like webbing. It was gore, essentially. It was just viscera, which is essentially what a meatball is. Hey, how you doing? Oh, you know what? Before I talk to you, let me just grab this real quick. Again, I don't know how that got in there between the first and second round, but I guess we're just not going to talk about it. It's like, sorry, I blacked out. It was crazy. Hey, how you doing? Uh-huh. I like that she did it, but I
It's
didn't.
okay. I won't touch you. I'm the night zookeeper, Paul Connolly. And you?
Sarah Watkins, investigative journalist for Pine Valley. Thanks for saving me.
Is it too gory? Is that why?
What do you mean?
You probably already know that you've been injected with something, some kind of parasite.
You also know something about these parasites. But how do you know?
Sorry, bro. Journalists don't reveal their sources. I can only say that we don't have much time. And the main thing now is to open this stupid door with a biometric lock to gather evidence for the article and expose these bastards. Can you help me?
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna do this real quick. Excuse me, pardon me. It's too on point. Well, that's what I was wondering.
Is this a human hand? Where did you get it?
I don't do my sources.
Send it up.
Somehow I feel like... Well, never mind. Try to use it on a scanner.
That's what I
But-
was planning to do.
I was thinking what I could do for the next one is try to really find a more, instead of going more
Cool. Let's see if these
horror,
maniacs can
I
diagnose
try to make it
experiments.
more cutie horror. You know what I mean? Where it's just like I make like a cute version of it, and it has all the spindly stuff,
I'm not sure. I
but
wanna-
it's cute,
I just wanna
creepy.
get through this night and go back to my family.
Are you out of your mind? There's a parasite in you. You'll mutate soon. Do you think anyone will let you out of here? Anyway, it's up to you, but if I close this door, I won't let you in.
That'd be more tolerable. Yeah, that's what I think the split is. I think it's less to do with like, oh, it's bad, and more to do with I don't want to be looking at that.
Disgusting face. A pure maniac who lacks a personal life. And vitamin B9.
That's Doc. My date.
How does she know he has low vitamin
For a
B9? Is
daytime
there like a look?
zookeeper, your doc has too many scientific degrees. I bet he's the head honcho here.
Well, I appreciate the compliment regardless.
Now we know who extended a helping hand to us. Poor CJ.
Did you know him?
No, why?
If you didn't know, then how did you know his name? Just saying.
Oh, my cell. Battery for one call. Damn. I need to call my wife urgently.
Don't call. Let's find something substantial, and then we can call the police.
Oh, really? Is it just the eyes on the costume that throws you off? I thought it was the like veins or the red,
Hello?
the
Paul, is that you? You said they took
the
your
mouth.
phone.
I found where they hid it. Tell me, have you had dinner already?
Oh, Paul, thank you. I decided to make roulade. The smell is all over the house. I can't wait for Gina to try it.
Oh.
You guys haven't eaten it yet?
No, it's still in the oven. Gina is sleeping, and I feel guilty eating such a delicious dish alone.
Thank God. Lily, throw it away immediately.
Paul, what are you talking about?
Lily, darling, I'm sorry. No time to explain. My phone is about to die. Just do as I said. I'll be back home in the morning and I'll tell you everything.
Fantastic. There's a computer, but no data.
All right, well, here you go.
Floppy disk? Where'd you get that?
CJ's
Found it in one of the lockers.
CJ's
Well,
locker.
Of course. Here's the password.
Damn. You're not a hacker by any chance, are you?
Not even close. I can guess the password only if I know who came up with it.
Damn. Then we're at a dead end.
What is this?
Time to deal with another mutant.
Yeah.
Let's still call the cops. At least they'll get us out of here.
I'll think about it.
Can I? I can't. All right. Yeah, I think it was. If I had to guess, it's probably the exposed skull, or it's just the combination of the two. That's why I think it's more of like a gore reaction. Alright, let's see here. Endings tracker, how are we doing? Talk to Lily. Meet the family. Answers Linda's call. Save Sarah. Meet Sarah. Oh, I should have not called Lily. Help Sarah with her investigation. Figured out that whose hand it was. Told Linda about CJ's fate. Investigate further. Uh-oh. We're going down Shed Light on Evil. We don't tell Linda about CJ's fate. Oh. And then we die. Well, we can investigate further with Sarah and then go down here. That and the contrast between the pose. Yeah, I could see that. So if it was just that straight up all the time, would it be better? Or would it be more tolerable? Because this one is just choosing the wrong parasite, etc. So this is also choosing the right parasite or not. So I would say... Figured out whose hand it was. Figured out whose hand it was, and then something happens here that we just die from. Interesting. So something happens that could end the game right now. It's hard to say, you know? It's hard to say. But I just want to make sure that I make costumes that not only do I enjoy making, but y'all enjoy liking. And there are certain ones that are very divisive. Like, I'm thinking maybe call the cops. But I don't know how to call the cops right now. Alright, got none of those. But her dress up did not change. I did not anticipate to be the case. Because I can't do the phone on that. I think our phone died when we called. No, it definitely wouldn't have been not entering the lab. Can I, like, look at my things? Oh, my phone. Use.
Damn, the phone did die after all.
Because if we look and fix that does twice, it still messed it up. Alright, let's see here. Because if we look... no, none of that. So if we look... We went all the way here. We figured out whose hand it was. We helped Sarah with her investigation. We called Lily. So in order to get met Sarah, that's 100%. Call Lily is we're already in the lab, right? Then we figured out whose hand it was, and then there's something that we do here that just ends it. And it's not when Linda calls. It's something that we do before Linda calling. So maybe we try to leave? Or a part of me is just like, there's a password here, right? And maybe if I find the password? But to be honest, I don't think I don't remember how I got her the password. I think she just kind of, like, had it? Let's try to go through the front. Can I do that? Can I do out here? Nope. Nothing out here. Nothing. I mean, that one's a recorder of mine, of me. Let's see. I just have the sneaking suspicion that it's here. I mean, we could do this. Hello. I'm just gonna leave you hanging, I guess. The password. I guess we could just continue. We can just keep going. Because I'm not seeing another thing to kind of interact with while we're here. We'll take one last look down here. And then we'll just get going. We're going to see. Okay, you do. Huh. Okay. But we do have items. We do see there. I wonder if there's also, like, extra batteries? That would be kind of fun to, like, find, where it's just like, oh, we found a charger or something to charge our phone. It's like, do you have your phone charger on you? It's like, I was naked when you found me. Alright, worst comes to worst, we'll just do the one where... What was it? I know it's going to do the thing again. No, stop it. I don't like how it automatically does that. We tell... Oh! Okay, so that's the dichotomy. If we don't tell Linda about CJ's fate... Right? If we don't tell Linda about CJ's fate, we die? So I guess if we don't answer, let's do hippo. We'll do zebra last. Because there's a solid chance we won't see zebra. By the way, if y'all don't already know, I'll make an announcement later today. Today is Melon's debut. Like, new debut thing. It's going to be happening in 2 hours, I believe. Oh, I got infected by the main dude. Yeah. So if y'all can, please stop by, show her some love. She's been really looking forward to it. She's been really building up to it. I know I'm going to be collabing with her sometime tonight, but it's like an 8-hour stream. Yeah! So please, I will be making, you know, a Discord announcement thing, but if y'all don't mind, even if it's just a little bit, just show some love there. That'd be much appreciated from y'all. Yeah, she stops by occasionally, and we have some collab streams here and there. But yeah, a lot of times because of the time zones, I wouldn't be collabing until late, and for a lot of y'all, that's like you're asleep. Yeah. Well, not even. I mean, we played a good amount of Peak. We've played a Goblin Cleaner. Was a recent one that we've been collabing on. So there's been a couple, and a lot of Repo too, but a lot of those streams are late streams. What was that? Hippo, you're awake. Trust me, I'm always awake. All right, so 2.5. Let's say like 40%. Hey, let's go. This one is pretty much like there. Yeah, they get a little more. The ratio's about. So there is no visual component to that jump scare. There is no visual component. That's crazy. Is that 12:30 Eastern? Got you. Yeah, usually when we do collabs with them, it's around, I want to say like 10 or 11. I want to say.
Oh no, that's shitty.
Hi, how are you doing, my guy? You okay? Do you need help or? Oh, how's your Omega grind been? Hopefully good. I've beaten Omega once, but I haven't done Savage yet. Yeah, right? Kids don't do drugs. Oh, look at all those watermelons. 3 Omega. Have you done Savage? Or is it just regular Omega? And have you done it with one... Have you done it with, whatchamacallit? Have you done it with people? Or have you just done it with... Excuse you. Rude. So rude. The fact that you have to do this backwards is kind of wild. Alright, let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? Alright, hippos. We got Zoe, Bubba, and Waffle. Waffle, the hippo, is very good. Trying Savage Omega solo. Yeah. I think solo's the way to go about it. Like... Oh, hey, guys, relax. Relax, guys. Actually, you know what? Hold on. How's y'all's behavior looking? Pretty normal. I'm not seeing a whole lot of weirdness, so. But beating the Nurse solo is a pain. Yeah. You just gotta clear that damage check. Alright. Alright, looks like all y'all's temps are pretty good. Easy. They're munching down. Yeah, I saw the parasite. But it's just like, yeah, like they're like roaches. You ignore them, and like, you do what to your roaches? All right, let's see here. All right, sound check. Mic. Oh. All right, Zoe is afraid. That's a sign. All right, Waffle is afraid. And okay. All right, Zoe. I'm sorry, girl. You have this. You have the behavior, but none of the symptoms. So it's got to be you. So So Waffle, we're gonna need some blood from you, boy. Alright, get all the poop doop 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 boop. Shoot da loop ba doo ba doo. Alright, get that out of there. Get this up in here. I know, it's the needle. Y'all don't even feel this needle. I don't know why you're reacting the way you're reacting. You have such thick hide. I'm even surprised the needle even gets in there. If you don't beat Nursella and live, Omega gets a defense boost, or was it that it's just a weakness change? I thought it was just they kill you. I thought you just lose, you die. Was what happens. I didn't think there was extra nonsense to it. If I had to guess, it would be a defense boost. But I don't know. That is to the level that I do not fully understand myself. I just kick its ass and doot my horn. If it's from what I've heard for other people talk about, I'm assuming it's a defense up. I haven't heard anything about weaknesses changing. Where it's like, you need to have this element in case you fail the damage, whatever. But I have heard mentions of, oh, it's like if something happens and then it's the defense gets super, super high. It's possible. Yeah, I think it's like... But I thought it was like if you manage to survive the one-hit kill, then the defense goes crazy. Actually, we're going to swipe that. It makes it almost impossible. It makes it impossible to kill it if you manage to survive the insta kill. It's like an anti-cheat. All right, what we got? Ooh, we got a triple threat anti-parasitic substance based on ivermectin. All right. All right. Tranquilizer. I guess we'll do tranquilizer for now. they're gonna it's gonna immediately be like, "Brr, I'm so scary." Brr. Yoink. If you cart to the move, it gets boosted, not if you use the shield. Oh. Oh. So what gets boosted? Defense? Hey man, how you doing? Are you gonna get mad at me? Yep, there it is. I'm going in here. You can't get in here. Ha ha. You can take your fart clouds and go somewhere else, Stinky. And luckily he's slow as molasses, so we can actually have time to reload. Boop. Hee 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 hee. Ho ho ho. Come on. Oh, this way. Do you mind making a decision here? Oh, there he goes. He's gonna dig under the ground and then come up on the other side. I believe he's gonna come out from over there. Let's see. There he is. Oh, it didn't count? Oh, that's because it was tranquilizer. That would do it. No, get away from him. Stop it. Leave him alone. You and your big giant teeth. That's your friend. Don't you remember? That's your friend. Fight it. Fight it, Waffles. I don't even remember if it's Waffles or not. Fight it regardless. Haha. Alright, it went into the water. And then certainly it wouldn't come out near me. That would be cringe. Ha ha ha. Unless... It does kind of look like the Devil Joe, don't it? Oh, it came up... Oh, there it is. There we go. Go ahead and get this ready to go. Oh, man, it came in fast. Look at those feet, dude. It's crazy. Interesting. Very fascinating. And they're just back to normal. It's just that easy. Just draw the rest of the owl forehead. What was that? There was a recent Elden Ring, like the Elden Ring, not multiplayer thing. One of the bosses just looked like a lightning Devil Joe. I thought it was so cool. All right. Good job, everybody. We did it. We'll have hippo for dinner. And they're like, wait, what? I'm gonna try to fix the damn frame again. That's really the current issue right now is that the frame drop, because it's like not good. Nah, it's still happening.
Fuck! It hurts so much.
Okay, so I'm not gonna answer, right? I'm not gonna answer. Night Rain, yeah. Which I still need to play the Elden Ring DLC. I think y'all will like, or at least maybe not like. You'll find the way I play it in entertaining. All right, see you in a bit, Piranha. Okay, so this one is figured out whose hand it is. Told Linda about CJ's fate. That one I don't want to do. We're just gonna ignore it and go away. We're not. We're just gonna leave. And then that's gonna be the end of this one. Okay. And then we're going to go, and then we're going to not really die, but essentially die. It's going to be an ending. We're going to go back to the HUD, or hub. Oh. What if this is the ending? That'd be crazy. You should have answered the call, brr, and then just rips me in half. Let's go. Let's see what happens. And I think after we get this ending, that's what we'll call it. I'm gonna step out of this and everything's gonna be just fine. Oh. Hey.
If you could see yourself, you wouldn't ask. And also, you smell like vomit. Want to freshen up?
I guess I should.
Is she gonna lock me in there?
Hey, Sarah, what the hell?
Sorry.
Is this a transformation one?
Moment now, and I want to live. Stay here for a while.
Bitch, I saved you.
Paul, it's morning. Where are you, my friend? It's time to check how you handled your probation. This is strange.
Yep. Oh, let's go. We got the zombie ending. I haven't seen this one. Die from the mutation. Paul didn't help Sarah with the investigation. Terrified by his rapid mutation, Sarah locked him in the bathroom. Despite his pleas, she never came back for him. Soon, his screams turned into agonizing groans and bloodthirsty growls. To this day, Sarah's fate remains unknown. All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Gave me the family, answered Linda's call, saved Sarah, met Sarah, called Lily, helped with the investigation, figured, didn't tell Linda about CJ's fate, and within the four walls. So in order to go up again, we have to not call Lily. Not calling Lily is the work, is the job. I think what happens is not call Lily and then call the cops. I think that's what this is. Too bad I can't just like click it and then redo it. Alright, cool. Maybe one of these days we'll just go through and just get all the other endings, because it seems for the most part pretty straightforward. I will just do a new game plus... actually, you know what? No. We'll just leave it at that. Alright. Well, as a reminder, please check out Melon's stream at 7. I'll put an announcement in the Discord. But I think we're going to call it here. So unfortunately, I can't raid her currently. But I'll also be playing with some games with her during that time too. Not at 7. We're thinking maybe 9 or so. Eastern. And thank you all for joining me on this nice spooky Zoochosis day. It was wonderful having y'all. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you later today. If not today, tomorrow. And if not, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all next time. All right, take care. See ya. Bye-bye.